The Miami Hurricanes' next defensive coordinator is going to have more talent to work with on that side of the football, but who's it going to be?
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Mario Cristobal's loafers are working in silence when it comes to this defensive coordinator search. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and writer for Canes County at Rivals. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I know it's Wednesday. It's not Tuesday, but my schedule's been all crazy because I was at Disney World early in the week. So it's now a Truth Teller Wednesday. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Bruce Warner with us. Bruce, I know you're going to be making an announcement on the show today. Is your announcement that you're going to be the next defensive coordinator at Miami? Because this search is working in silence. It might be you for all I know.
Don't you wish? I know one thing. No, I can't. I'm not. Forget it. Anyway, how cold was it up there? It was freezing here.
Yeah, it was in the 30s in Orlando. It was I didn't have enough layers. I had like 3 jackets on, and I thought I was in Siberia or something.
You went with your wife and your kid?
And my parents as well. It was a big group of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that must have been fun. I went there once. I don't know what year it was, but my cousin Sandy was alive because he worked for CBS, and he had a whole suite in the good years. So where that racetrack used to be, we were in there. We went everywhere, first class. It was really wild. But that's a long time ago. I haven't been there since before I married Debbie back in 2003 was the last time I was there.
Wow. Oh,
so anyway, enough of the Disney, and
it's only gotten more expensive and more crowded. But let's talk about what's going on with Miami's offseason. I did an episode late last night, and I mentioned that it seems like Mario is having some interest again in Anthony Campanali, who's the current linebackers coach with the Green Bay Packers, was the linebackers coach with the Miami Dolphins previously, and I believe he interviewed for the job before Lance Guidry got the job. Outside of that, we were wondering about Tim Banks, but he's not going to be the guy. I have my doubts about Tyler Santucci.
Yes.
I'm still wondering what's going on with Pat Fitzgerald and some other former head coaches. But
Muschamp, if anything.
Muschamp is a guy I think we would both really like, but Mario and Mario likes to keep stuff close to the vest, Bruce. And really the only thing we know about the defensive coordinator search are like agents talking and leaking things. Miami's not leaking anything about this.
Well, I don't know what the big secret is. Everybody knows he's looking for a coordinator. I think, but it might be more difficult because a lot of people are now using this place as a stepping stone to go someplace else. So let's say they hire Muschamp or Fitzgerald. How do you know that by the end of the year, they're going to be heading someplace else for a head coaching job? Is this what they really want? People also use this as like a predestination thing. They use this job to build a resume to go someplace else. So it's not easy. I guess it isn't so easy to be looking for a DC that is going to be here because he wants there to be the continuation of what he's done from season to season. Look at all the coaches that Jimmy Johnson had. Most of them became head coaches someplace, either in college or in the NFL. But he had continuity. Dennis, for the most part, had continuity. Butch, for the most part, had continuity. Nowadays, with all this people running and going and looking for the next place to go, it's not easy. And maybe someone like Mario, who goes back to those guys, is having a difficult time finding what he wants. It's not easy. So
yeah, it's not. Yeah, and to your point, like I think he wants to find someone with enough experience and authority where they can be the head coach of the defense, and that might even come with like a co-head coach tag, which would be good for someone's resume. But like if you're going to find someone with that much experience who fits that bill, how do you know they're going to be here, like you said, for more than a year or two, right? So it's a difficult tightrope you have to walk.
I'm not sure about Muschamp and Fitzgerald. I don't know whether they're going to get coaching jobs, head coaching jobs again. They're a little older. I would like to get Fitzgerald. I don't know if he's going to get another coach. He's embroiled in some sort of legal battle over what happened. So I'm not sure he even has the ability to sign a contract yet. I don't know all the legalities, but I know there's a legal issue. As far as Muschamp is concerned, he's been an SEC guy for the longest time. He's at Georgia now as some sort of a consultant. What is that supposed to be?
An analyst.
Maybe jump at the chance, but I would assume, I'm just guessing because I don't know, if Mario doesn't really want him, or if Mario really wanted him, he would have reached out, and I don't know if he has or hasn't, and he'd probably have the job by now.
Yeah.
Guy like Muschamp, Georgia's done. They're knocked out. Where is he going? Unless he's looking at other places. But I haven't even heard his name other than when me and you talk about it.
Yeah, well, another one, our guy, Gary Furman at Kane Sport, I don't think he's brought this up as like, something he expects would happen, but he brought up Schumann, the defensive coordinator at Georgia, as someone who's worked with Mario at the past at Alabama. They've got a relationship, but, this is a guy who's having success, defensive coordinator, one of the biggest programs in college football. Like, how would you actually lure him over here? It would have to be a big time raise, and he's already making north of $2 million at Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, and he's been a big name for years. People have been wanting him, and he still hasn't left though.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, but he hasn't left. I'm sure a lot of these guys that were DCs, like the coach at Oklahoma now, he was great at Clemson, but he's so at Oklahoma. And so, you don't really know. You give these guys more authority because Dabo controlled the whole thing at Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
And all he had to do was focus on the defense, but he did a damn good job. But he's a head coach now. And those are the things that you look at and oh, man, I don't want to have this problem again. So I'm not really involved in it. I don't really know. All I know is it's just a name to me. What that I care about, what you care about is what happens on the field. I could care less who it is.
Well, and I want to talk more about that on this episode. Before we segue to what we would like to see from the defense next year, I mentioned at the top, Bruce, I appreciate with what Miami's doing in the transfer portal, making that defensive side of the football more talented, specifically on the back end. Because, listen, I know we can complain all we want to about Lance Guidry. Miami also had a thin secondary last year. So the fact that the Hurricanes have gone out and gotten Ethan O'Connor from Washington State at cornerback.
Have you seen him play? Have you watched him play?
Yeah, he's a very good player. 4 interceptions last year, a pick 6, very aggressive corner. Like I know
you're
really
reading
good.
it. I'm reading it. You're reading it. I know you know the stats. Did you see him play?
I watched highlights. I didn't watch as many games start to finish as I could Washington State, but I mean, my understanding.
What about the Michigan State guy?
Yeah, I watched him play. He's good and experienced. Charles Brantley. Yeah, so he's going to be a good addition. The one who's a little bit more of a project is Emmanuel Carnley, because he didn't have the best stats last year, but he's 6'3", 185. I think they like him for his length and his potential. And Zechariah Poiser, who had great stuff.
He's a known commodity. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the secondary will be much better next year. How can he not be? And he's got better players. Meanwhile, how does what's his name? The kid that went to Georgia yesterday,
Jaden Harris.
How did he get to Georgia?
I have no idea.
What did they see?
Talked about that last night. What did they see in him that we didn't? I don't know.
Oh man, he couldn't do a damn thing right.
No.
All right, whatever.
And did you see Deani Hill, who also had a rough year at Miami? He ended up at Wisconsin.
Right.
As soon as Wisconsin sees him practice, they're never going to let Xavier Lucas go. They're like, no, we will fight that one till the bitter. But okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about the defense, and I want to talk about the quarterback situation, Bruce, because this is another one. The quarterback search also going very, very quietly for Miami, but we're seeing names come off the board, right? You and I talked about this Mark Gronowski from South Dakota State. He ends up landing at Iowa. There's other names who have, come and gone through the transfer portal. So you guys want to keep it locked right here. It's a Truth Teller Tuesday on a Wednesday. We're only getting started. By the way, Bruce Warner is going to have a big announcement to make near the end of the show. So you want to stay tuned for that right here on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Keep it locked. Friends, did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? It's definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. For me, the best feature is the subscription tracker. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore. I've already saved a ton. Plus, with their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked-on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. For your next listen, make sure you check out Locked On ACC. Kenton Gibbs and I, we take you around the conference. We talk college football playoff. We talk about the ACC's terrible bowl record, all that good stuff. Available free wherever you get your podcasts, available free on YouTube. Did you see, Bruce, the ACC postseason football play? 2-11 overall and 0-13 against the spread. So if you were betting money on ACC teams, you're broke right now.
Syracuse won, and who else won?
Louisville. That's it.
Oh, Louisville won, right? Yeah, and I was rooting for all the ACC teams, regardless of if I dislike them or not. I still root for them. Well, I have a big dilemma coming up. Tomorrow night? I hate Notre Dame.
Wow.
All right. I hate Penn State.
Yeah.
We all hate Ohio State.
Yeah.
And who's the other? Oh, Texas. I don't like them either. Who do they play? Ohio State. They're probably going to get
Ohio State.
Ohio State is the hot team right now, and Penn State, who I always hated, but I don't like Notre Dame at all because all my friends had that fight up there. Randall and Mark and all those guys.
I think I'm rooting for Texas. I think that's the bottom line.
I'm going to root for Texas and Penn State.
Although maybe you root against Texas because, but maybe this doesn't matter because I was going to say, Quinn Ewers might be a quarterback Miami has their eye on. If Texas wins the championship, his stock gets higher for the NFL. Maybe if they get smoked by Ohio State, he's more likely to play another year in college. And if Ewers play another year in college, it's not going to be at Texas because they want to shove his ass out of there for Arch Manning.
Of course they do. I mean, he's not great. He has his moments. He's like a rhythm quarterback. He's pretty good. I wouldn't mind him coming here for the 1 year, but again, that's what was his number? 6 million? 6 million?
Supposedly, yeah. There's a lot of money. That's like three times what we were reportedly paying Cam.
And I don't know. Look, I heard his draft stock is like 3rd round or something like that. Where I heard originally it was a 1st round pick. And the same thing with the kid from Georgia.
Yeah, Carson Beck.
Yeah, he's like he declared he's hurt. What kind of value is he going to have?
I don't think he's going to make it to the NFL. I think my question with Beck, because he's got until January 15th to make his final decision on the NFL. So he's got another week before he fully commits to the NFL. But like you said, I mean, he's coming off of UCL surgery, which is Tommy John, which is really going to hurt his NFL stock. Didn't have his best year, which already hurts his NFL stock. I think my question with Beck would be, he could wind up staying with Georgia because they got to look at Gunnar Stockton. Like they can't, it's kind of like us with Emory Williams. Like you kind of take a step back and say, I don't know about that situation. And Georgia's been adding a ton of weapons, Bruce. I mean, they added Noah Thomas, the wide receiver from Texas A&M. They got Zachariah Branch. Who
they did. They got him and the brother. Yeah. So and that's the thing. Now you have to have a quarterback. And as much as I like Emory Williams and people kept saying comments like, why? Well, other than we've seen in practice, he beat Clemson and he was very close to beating Florida State, a lot better than a lot of other quarterbacks in the last 15 years. Yeah. So, but he didn't look good the other day. I don't think that was really him. Like I said, I've seen him.
We saw him in practice.
I don't know what that Cam Ward thing did to his psyche. I don't know. I don't even know if he knew he was getting in the game, but he didn't look prepared at all. It looked bad. His pocket presence was horrible. So I think that was an experiment, if I want to use that word, for Mario to see what he has and what he's going to work on. But it kind of blew up in their face. Now, if you're the agent for somebody transferring, you got them hostage. You're holding them hostage. You want a quarterback? We say $2 million. Forget the $2 million. We want $4 million now because you don't have you have no leverage anymore.
Yeah.
And you need leverage when you're negotiating. They don't have any.
Let me ask you about this could be because if it's not yours and if it's not Beck, I think because Virginia Tech's bowl game was very late. Not that I'm expecting him to leave, but what would you say about Kyron Drones from Virginia Tech? And he and Cam Ward are cousins, so I'm sure Ward could recruit him potentially. I think Drones would still have another day or two. Now he did before the bowl game. He did mention like he was going to stick with Virginia Tech. So I'm not trying to tamper or steal this guy or whatever. But if it is possible for Kyron Drones to hit the portal, he's not nearly as polished as Ward was by the time he got here, obviously. But Kyron has a lot of talent scrambling, and he's got a good arm. He's just not as consistent with his throws as Cam is.
A lot of those guys that we saw this year that ran up against our defense looked like Heisman Trophy winners. So I don't know what he did in the other 11 games or 12 games that he played. But if based on what I saw, he's pretty tough. He's a toughie. And he made some throws that I didn't think that everybody said you can't throw. He threw pretty well. So if that's the guy that shows up, if he comes here, I wouldn't mind that. He's good.
Yeah. So let's circle back to the defense. What are the, because you and I, we have a lot of conversations about what the pass rush should look like. I know you talk a lot, of course, to our guy, Mark Caesar, your good friend who did
he's in the waiting room here. He wants, but I think, I'm not sure, from what I saw a few minutes ago, he might be on the dialysis. I don't know if he's on the machine or he's at the doctor, but yeah, he might be. But he's
so what would you, for whoever the next coordinator is, defensive coordinator, what would you like to see differently? I mean, I say let's make some tackles, let's stop some people, but what would you like to see from Miami's defense next year, no matter who the coordinator is?
I still think they need to get a little bigger and stronger at the point of attack. We're still getting blown off the ball a lot. I want the pass rush. I'm sorry. I keep saying the same thing. I don't know what else to say. The secondary appears to be better. We do have some young linebackers that we have a lot of promise for. They have to be coached up. Gee, I wonder if I'll get a call about that comment. But the front four has always been the dominant part of our championship or teams that played in the title games and things like that. It's always been. And this year, the front four, anybody who watches or listens to this show could tell you the same thing. Where was the pass rush? Where was it? It was very inconsistent. And in the flip side of it, you watch the Florida game, and you're thinking, oh my God, we kicked their, I'm not allowed to say ass anymore, but I'll say it because whatever. We kicked their ass. Yeah. And we looked spectacular in that game. The secondary
Tyler Barron was so dominant in that game, the first 3 games of the year.
Yep, and we only saw Bain in that game for 3 plays. And without him, we still beat their brains in. So what happened? I don't know what happened. So if you're looking at the pass rush, I'm pretty positive that Mario wants a coordinator that's going to get these guys to play like his former teammates did, which is ridiculous because he played with Mark and with Maryland and with oh my God, why am I blanking out? See, that's why I had this MRI. You know who I'm talking about. He was the 3rd pick in the draft. He passed away a few years ago.
Oh, Cortez?
Yeah, Cortez. He had Cortez in there.
Yeah, Cortez Kennedy.
So he had all these guys, and he just watched them. They just dominated. So they have to get back to that. I don't know what's going to happen with Bain. I mean, there's a rumor floating around that you know about, but I don't know if they want me to say anything.
Yeah, he's going to stay here. I know that there were some rumors. Oh, is he looking at Colorado? My understanding is he's going to stay around. I'm not worried about that one. and listen, I'm not saying other schools aren't trying to get him, but he's Hurricane through and through.
Okay, well, that's what you say. So look, that's what I want from the coordinator. I want someone who could make adjustments in the game, not from the beginning to the end. We're getting smoked. They're going down the field.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, like I used to be able to say, like we all are able to say, we're winning, and if they have the ball with a couple of minutes to go, game's over. They're not going to score. They're not going to score. Yeah. Not only did these teams not score, but we sacked their quarterback 2 or 3 times, and the game was over. I don't have that feeling anymore. It's frightening to watch this team play. With Cam Moore, we could have lost 4 or 5 games, 6 games, who knows? And we struggled to win the games that we did win because the defense didn't do much. So that's what I hope for. I hope that when the defense goes out there, it's not the way it's been in the last couple of years. It's the way it used to be. Yeah, I'm old, and I think about what happened back in the day. What else could I say? That's my point of reference. Watching these guys, and not only watching them in the games, going down to the practices, I'm watching them beat the crap out of their quarterbacks.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know when Dennis got there at 89, I know for a fact because I was there almost all the time. They did not score a touchdown in their fall practices. They didn't score.
Right.
And they were scared stiff. In the first game they went to Wisconsin, they won 51-3. Because look at who they were going against in practice, and look what happened when they got up to Wisconsin. They destroyed them because Steven ran through them like a hot knife through butter, and Craig Erickson had a field day, 51 points after not scoring in your own practices.
We can still do the 51-point thing. It's the only giving up 3 is what we have trouble with these days.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Yeah.
That's the point. You don't have to watch a game like, oh my, you and I cursing, texting each other. Man. Oh, if somebody saw what we wrote, oh my God.
Yeah.
But just going down memory lane for this past season, but they need a lot of work. They need someone to teach them. They need to be on the same page. Remember, and I keep bringing this, remember when Leon was on in one of the first shows we ever did, and Leon told us you have to have continuity. These players do not play together in the offseason. They're first practicing maybe in the fall, and they get on the field. They've never lined up together as an 11-man unit. And you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and it comes back to bite them. So Barron had a great first game, fizzled out, right? A lot of guys, even Malvin had a horrible year as far as we're concerned. He didn't have a great year. Bain didn't play that much, but he didn't play that well. The transfer from Michigan State to D tackle.
Barrow. He had a good year.
He had a good year when he played. He was hurt a couple of games, but he was in the backfield. That's what you need. You need somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a big announcement from the truth teller when we come back, and I'm hoping I can talk him out of this, or maybe he's going to pull a swerve, and his announcement is going to be that he's the next defensive coordinator. You want to keep it locked right here.
We're not done yet. Own show.
We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. You want to keep it locked. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. Make sure you check out Locked On College Football for your next listen. Spencer McLaughlin does a tremendous job. Of course, crunch time in the CFP, we're down to 4 teams. He's going to keep you updated on everything going on, who's going to win the championship, transfer portal, NIL. Spencer McLaughlin has you covered on Locked On College Football, available free wherever you get your podcasts and free on YouTube. Now, Bruce Warner, the truth teller. We've been doing these truth teller Tuesdays or other days of the week sometimes. How long has it been now? Over 2 years, right? You've been joining me for truth teller Tuesdays.
Yeah. 2 years, yeah. So I got to call Debbie back because she's trying to call me. I'm doing this podcast.
Well, tell her this is more important than your wife.
I didn't even say hello. I just picked up the phone. All right. So anyway, yeah, 2 years. I've loved doing it with you. I consider you a really good friend, but I'm just tired of all the hypocrisy, not only from the stuff that I get back on this show, but when I did a show, on Tuesday night with Gary at Kane Sport Live, it came back to me that I said something, and maybe he got in trouble. I don't know, but all I know is that a month or 2 ago or 3 months ago, I made this statement for the opening of the show for about 8 or 10 minutes. about what Mario has done for the school, for the football team, for the community, and we ought to thank him for what he's done and blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear a word from anybody. Nobody reached out to me. Nobody. But yet when I make a statement, which I believe is the truth, my name was mentioned in there that I'm helping other teams negative recruit because I made a couple of comments. Well, my name is the truth teller because you gave me that moniker. And nobody tells me what to do. The only time people tell me what to do is I'm in front of the judges in the courthouse. I'm not going to disrespect them, and I can't. I can't say what I want. That's a lousy ruling judge. What's wrong with you? I can't do that. But on these shows, I give my opinion. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. I know there's a lot of detractors because they just think that I'm Mr. Negative. I said 12-0 this year. So how am I Mr. Negative? Right? That's what I said. And I praise Mario. But when there's something to not be praised, I don't just sit back and sweep it under the carpet. I just don't. And I wasn't like, this guy sucks and this guy stinks and you should be fired. I don't do that. But I call it as I see it. And I said about the defense and I said about certain things. And I tell my truth. And yeah, there's a lot of people that still say the same thing. You know, he's always negative. He's never going to change. Those people are stupid. I don't like stupidity. I don't like people driving in the left lane at 18 miles an hour on a 60-mile-an-hour lane. I don't like people going in line in Publix and all their groceries are already bagged and they first start reaching into their wallet or their purse to pull out the money. You know, come on. I want to live a little longer. So in this situation, I've had it. I've just had it with all the BS and the hypocrisy. I love doing the show with you. But as you know, some of the people know I had an MRI last week on my brain because I've been forgetting. I just forgot Cortez Kennedy's name, who was one of my buddies. Cortez and I were very close. So it's scary. I'll be 71 next month, and I don't need the stress. I don't sleep that well anymore. I've told you, you've noticed a couple of times you've had to bail me out because I forgot a player's name. Guys on this current team. So I think it's time for me to just take care of my health and not get involved in this anymore. I'm going to retire from all these podcasts. If you ever need me for something, you know damn well I'll be there. And if you ever want any of my friends to be on the show, any one of the hundreds of former players that I have access to their phone numbers, but of course you could do it, whatever you want. I appreciate the opportunity. I love doing the show with you, but I'm done. I don't have it in me anymore. It's my health. It's my granddaughters. Still my law practice. I just want to do these things and be healthy.
Well, let me say, and I could, and I'm going to talk with you privately as well to thank you. And we talk a lot. You know, I love you, and I just want to say, first of all, with everything, all the stuff, and I'm confident that you're going to be fine when you get the MRI results and stuff. I've been praying for you, and I love you, and I look forward every week to the conversations that we've been having for the last 2+ years. And you know that I love you, and most people who watch and listens to these shows love you. Do you have some haters? Sure. I mean, anybody who's ever had an opinion, like you have a lot of opinions, is going to have some haters. Not everybody's going to agree with you, Bruce.
Yeah, it's not that they don't agree with me. It's personal things. And they don't know me. You guys don't know me at all. You don't know that I give money to charities, and you don't know that my dog goes to do pet therapy. Ever since my son died 12 years ago, my ex-wife takes my golden retrievers, show dogs, they're gorgeous, to the hospitals. Now my little one, Banks, who's only one, he goes and he does pet therapy. My dog was at Stoneman Douglas the day after the shooting. He was at Surfside when the building collapsed. So we have things in our lives that are important to us, even though my son's been gone for 12 years. I don't want to start crying because it bothers me greatly that I couldn't fix him. I couldn't fix him. Yeah. I fix other people as in doing divorces. So I don't need stress. I don't need this. I love doing the show with you. I don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't get a quarterback. We don't get the right DC. Nothing's going to change. You want to call me pessimist again? That's fine. I don't know what he said. We're in this great direction going forward. There's other stories and other rumors about coaches possibly leaving. So it's not over yet. We had a golden opportunity with this quarterback, and I don't know who calls the shots on defense. I have a hard time believing that Mario couldn't have told Jersey, you better do this. I don't know what happened. Anyway, you got to run. Thank you a lot, Alex. I love you too.
Thank you.
And I'm sad about this, but I got to do this.
Well, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. God bless you. And
Disney World.
Let's meet at Disney World. We'll drink around the world at Epcot. We'll forget about all this stuff.
Too cold.
We appreciate the truth teller and everything. And man, we love you, Bruce. Well, we will talk to everybody again next time, and hopefully we talk to Bruce again someday. Let's all give him a round of applause on the way out, and a sincere thank you. Please thank you to the truth teller in the comments below. We will talk to everyone next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.